Welcome to the Apartments.com Rental Manager Onboarding Series. Looking for a place to list your rental? We can help. Showcase your property to millions of renters, effortlessly screen and perform background checks on potential tenants, and collect rent entirely online for free. You can do all of this and more when you join Apartments.com. In this video, we're going to cover the following: creating an account and adding your first property, creating rent comps, listing your property, uploading 3D tours, responding to leads with messages, screening and accepting applicants, setting up residents, drafting a lease, setting up rent collection and requiring renters insurance, tracking expenses, tracking maintenance, and using your account dashboard. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. Creating an account. Simply select Manage Rentals on our homepage, and then Get Started in the top right of your screen. Enter your name, email address, password, and phone number. Then select Create Account. And just like that, you now have access to an array of tools to help you manage your rental all in one place. And now that you've created your account, let's add your first property. Adding a property. Select Properties in the left navigation, then select the Add a Property button. Select your home type from the provided options and then enter the address of your property. Select Add Your Property when you are done. Your rental is then added to your account. Next, let's create some rent comps to get an idea about how to properly price your rental. Creating rent comps. Select Reports in the left navigation, then locate the Rent Comp Report section and select Create Report. After a brief wait, your report is generated. Reviewing your report. Your Rent Comparables report is broken down into the following sections. 1. Summary. This section includes the average rent per square foot, and the average square footage of properties nearby that have been identified as comparable to your property. This section also includes a table containing the details of these properties and a grid of property images. 2. Market conditions. This section includes a market indicator, how many properties are for rent in the area, the average amount of days those rentals are on the market, and the average rent of those properties. Each of these market conditions are also accompanied by a graph showing changes to the market over the past 12 months. Now that you have what you need to competitively price your rental, let's make a listing. Creating your first listing. Select Properties in the left navigation, then select Create Your Listing under the property you would like to list. Then the leasing wizard begins. Enter your listing's basic information. Enter the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, the size of the property in square feet, the date your property is available to rent, the total monthly price including all monthly recurring fees, the deposit amount, the lease length, and the description of your property. Select Next when you are done. Upload photos of your property. Select Click to Upload to get started. Select any images you would like to use, and then select Next when you are done. Review and publish your listing. Select whether you are the property owner, agent, or broker listing on someone's behalf, or the manager of the property. Select if you would like to enable rental applications, and then confirm if your property qualifies as affordable housing or not. Select Publish when you are done. Your listing is published to Apartments.com. Now that your listing is live, let's spruce up your listing with some 3D tours. Uploading 3D tours. Search for and download the Matterport app for your iOS or Android device. After downloading the app, open it and create your account. Now you're ready to scan your first space. For step-by-step instructions on scanning and creating a tour, refer to our Help Center article linked in the description of this video. Locating your tour ID. After you scan and publish your space, you need to locate your tour ID to start the linking process. Log into your Matterport account on a web browser of your choice. Find and select the Matterport space you want to link, and then select Share. Update your privacy level of your tour to either Unlisted or Public, and then select Copy Link. Be sure to keep this URL handy for the next step in the process. Linking your tour. Now that you have your tour ID, it's time to upload your tour to Apartments.com Rental Manager. Log into your account and select Properties in the left navigation. Select the Settings drop-down on the listing where you want to upload your 3D tour, and then select Edit Listing. Navigate to the Media section, and then select Edit section. Locate and select Add a Matterport 3D tour, and then paste your URL into the provided field. Enter a thumbnail or a caption, then select Done. Select Continue to review your listing, and then select Publish at the bottom of the Edit Listing page. Your 3D tour is published to your listing. Please allow up to 2 hours for the changes to be reflected on your listing page. Now that your listing is getting more attention, let's get familiar with how to use messages. Responding to messages. Select Messages in the left navigation. Select the message you want to respond to, review the message, and enter your response, and then select the Send button when you are done. Getting the most out of messages. Select the star icon on a message thread to favorite that thread. Select the 3 dots on a thread to mark the message as unread, remove it from your favorites, report the message, delete it, or move the message to your archive. These actions can also be selected within the message thread itself. While within a thread, select the plus icon to attach images or send an invitation to apply to your listing, and select the star icon to generate message responses with the help of AI. Enabling auto-reply. Auto-reply is a messaging feature that allows you to send automated messages if you haven't responded to a renter's first message within 1 hour. Refer to the following steps for more information. Select the Account drop-down in the left navigation, then select My Account. Select Message Preferences, and then locate the auto-reply section. Enter your auto-reply in the provided field, and enable the toggle, and select Save Settings at the top of the page when you are done. Now that you are familiar with messages, let's start screening some applicants. Screening applicants. 1. Review applications. Log into your account and select Applications in the left navigation. The Applications dashboard appears, and apps are sorted by date received. You can filter by property if you have multiple rentals, or by application type to see apps at different stages of the process. Select the Actions dropdown and a selection of options appear. Select the View Application button to view the application in its entirety. Each application contains information on the following: personal identification, pets, co-applicants and/or guarantors, rental history, employment and income, as well as any references. Within the application, you can also review reports provided by TransUnion, including credit, eviction, and criminal reports, depending on what's available in your area. 2. Make your decision. Now that you've reviewed the application and reports, it's time to decide whether you should accept or deny your applicant. If you like your applicant but want extra insurance, you can request a guarantor. If you deny an application based on information in a credit report, follow Fair Credit Reporting Act requirements, including sending an adverse action notice. Now that you've approved your first resident, let's set up that resident. Setting up residence. To get started, select Residents and Leases in the left navigation. Then select Set Up New Residence. Select the property associated with the resident. Set the lease term, and then add your resident's information. Select the resident type, enter their name, email, and phone number, then select Finish. Now that your resident is all set up, let's look at how to draft a lease. Drafting a lease. After you add a resident, you now have the option to draft a lease document. Navigate to the resident who you want to draft a lease for, and then select Draft a Lease. The leasing wizard appears. Select Begin to start drafting a lease. Here's what you can expect to see during the process. 1. Lease duration. Affirm that you are either an individual or a business. For this example, we are going to assume that you are an individual. Enter your first and last name and your email address. Continue when you are done. 2. Residence. Confirm your resident information is accurate and up to date. Select Continue when you are done. 3. Property type. Select your property type and then select who is responsible for managing the property. Again, we're going to assume that you are an individual, so enter your name, your personal address, city, state, and zip. Select Continue when you are done. 4. Legal notices. Provide the contact information of an individual or business designated to receive any legal notices. This could be you or your lawyer. Select Continue when you are done. 5. Monthly rent. Enter or confirm your rent details. This includes rent and fees, late fees, grace period, and insufficient funds fees. Continue when you are done. Continue moving through the leasing wizard. You'll be asked to provide information for the following: security deposits, pet policies, parking, additional fees, payment methods, utilities and services, included provisions such as furnishings or appliances, property disclosures, additional rules and regulations such as smoking, and special stipulations. After completing the leasing flow, a review screen appears. You can download a PDF copy of your new lease or confirm your selections and send it to your renters to begin the signing process. Now that you've drafted a lease, let's set up payments and ensure your resident submits renter's insurance. Setting up payments and renter's insurance. To get started, select Payments in the left navigation, then select Set up Payments. Select the resident you want to set up payments for, and then select Continue. Here's what you can expect to see during the process. 1. Configure monthly rent. Enter your monthly rent amount, select the due date from the drop-down, and then select what day reoccurring rent starts on. Select Add Monthly Fee to enter any reoccurring fees outside of rent. For example, I may want to charge $25 a month for parking. Next, select whether or not you would like to collect prorated rent, then select Continue when you are done. 2. Add late fees. Select whether or not you'd like to add late fees. Select Continue. 3. Enter a security deposit. Select whether or not you would like to collect a deposit. Next, select Add Move-in Fee to add any additional one-time charges due on move-in. Select Continue. 4. Require renter's insurance. Determine if you want to require renter's insurance on your lease or not. Select Continue when you are done. 5. Add a bank account. Link a bank account to Rental Manager using Stripe or enter your details manually. Follow the provided prompts within the Stripe pop-up to link your bank account to Apartments.com. Next, you'll be prompted to verify the ownership of your bank account for tax purposes. Affirm that you are either an individual or a business. Enter your SSN or ITIN, your legal name, date of birth, current address, and then select Submit when you are done. Your tax information is sent over for validation. You will receive an email when your account is ready or if we encounter any issues. 6. Confirm your payment settings. After completing the Setup Payments flow, a confirmation screen appears. Review the information carefully and then select Complete Setup when you are done. A confirmation pop-up appears letting you know that your renters have been invited to set up payments. Select View Payments to return to the Payments Hub for your property. Now that payments are configured, let's look at how to start tracking expenses. Tracking expenses. Select Expenses in the left navigation, then select Add an Expense. First, enter the vendor name associated with the expense, select the date of your payment, select the property associated with the expense, enter the total amount, and then select which IRS expense category the expense belongs to. Select Save Changes when you are done. Downloading a report. Select Download Expenses on the Main Expenses page. Select the date range you'd like to cover in your report, and select which property you'd like to include in your report. Then select Download Expenses. Your expense report is created and exported as both an Excel document and a PDF. This report maps directly to your Schedule E Form 1040 document when preparing your taxes. Now that you're familiar with tracking expenses, let's look at how to track maintenance requests. Tracking maintenance. Select Maintenance in the left navigation. The maintenance page appears and requests are sorted by latest activity. Select the request you would like to review. A maintenance request page is organized by the following: the name of the request and the date it was created, a note about entering the unit, the initial message from your renter, and a section where you can respond to your renter and attach photos. After you've addressed the renter's concern, you can close the request by selecting Close Issue at the top of the page. Creating a new issue. If you would like to create and track your own maintenance tickets, refer to the following steps. Navigate to the maintenance page and select New Issue in the top right of your screen. Choose the property you'd like to create a ticket for and select whether or not you'd like to notify your renter of the issue. Enter a title and a description, and then attach any relevant photos, videos, or other files. Select Create Issue when you are done. Now that your maintenance requests are in order, let's look at using your account dashboard. Using your dashboard. 1. Your financial overview. This section shows a bar chart of your payments received versus expenses paid. Hover over a bar to view your net gains or losses. Number 2. Your account alerts. This widget shows a snapshot of tasks that require your attention, from active maintenance requests to new messages and applications. Simply select a task to view more details. 3. Your ending soon notifications. Anything that is ending soon, whether a lease or a listing, is noted here so nothing slips through the cracks. Number 4. Your payment activity. This widget gives you a clear view of the current month's activity by displaying in-progress payments and outstanding balances on active leases. Number 5, your listing performance. Information in this widget is divided into 2 line charts, one for leads and one for views. This gives you a month-by-month breakdown of your portfolio's visibility on Apartments.com. At any time, you can select the filter drop-downs at the top of your dashboard to filter by individual properties or specific time periods. Now that you're familiar with your dashboard, let's move on to personalizing your experience. The all-new customization feature lets you tailor your dashboard to focus on the information that you want to see. To get started, select the Customize Dashboard button on the top right of the page. Then, drag and drop widgets to prioritize your favorites. Resize widgets by selecting the small, medium, and large options to expand or compress specific sections, or select the X icon by a widget to remove it outright. Next, select Save Layout to confirm your updates, cancel layout changes to go back to your dashboard without saving, or select Reset to Default Layout to revert your changes and restore any deleted widgets. Need more help? Visit our Resource Center at Apartments.com/rentalmanager/resources for more videos, tips, and guides.